All right, Jordan. We have kind of previewed the game. We've talked about the matchups that we like, the matchups that we don't like, the things that could or could not happen. But now is the time to make the picks against the spread and to give our overall score prediction on this upcoming game between the Florida State Seminoles and the Clemson Tigers. I'll give you the lines as they stand right now, where they started and where they are right now. And then we can go ahead with our picks both against the spread and our score prediction. So the line opened up at Clemson minus 15.5. It is now at Clemson minus 14.5. Over under opened up at 46.5. And now it sits at 47.5. So, Jordan, with that information, what's your thoughts on the spread, the over-under, and your overall score prediction for this game against Florida State this weekend?
Yeah, obviously, I really like the matchup. But I do think that Florida State defensively, they've played better the past couple of weeks, although I don't think the SMU game really showed it. At least their front has played a lot better. So I think they'll have some things and they'll make some plays. But I think Clemson ultimately will hit on enough explosive plays and kind of get the job done. I like Clemson to cover. It's only 14.5 doesn't quite feel like enough, but it's Vegas, and they don't always. It's always it's a rolling thing week to week as far as kind of how they power rate teams, and there's still a lot of priors, and obviously Florida State's defense has kept them in a lot of games. But I like Clemson to cover here. Score prediction, I'm feeling something like 38-10. I think I think Clemson has the opportunity to get 40 because if they don't allow Florida State to slow the game down, but I think they'll make enough plays and I don't expect Florida State to generate enough offense. So 38-10 feels about right, and Clemson rolls on to next week.
All right. So the spread for me, 14.5. Honestly, if I'm just being honest, looking at the game at the surface level, looking at how Florida State has played this year, how Clemson has played ever since that Georgia game, I just don't think 14.5 is enough. I think Clemson covers that. And the 47.5, I think the game goes over the 47.5. I think Clemson's probably going to get into the 40 range as far as points. So I definitely hit the over with the overall score total. And as far as, how I see this game playing out, I'm going to go, I could see Florida State coming out, having some wrinkles, putting a few drives together, kind of keeping it close, maybe first quarter and a half. But definitely, late into the second quarter, definitely third and fourth quarter, I see Clemson kind of pulling away. I just don't think Florida State has enough. I think they can hang around early, but Clemson ultimately is going to pull away and put some distance on the scoreboard between them and the Seminoles. My score prediction, 41-14. Clemson wins going away.
I like it.
A couple score predictions in the chat. Cade Klubnik Enthusiast says 45-13. Tigers. Hustler Inc. says 48-13. Clemson Football Kickoff says 50-17. So everybody predicted more points for the Tigers than we are, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm giving Florida State's defense more credit than that, but it could, and that's one thing I haven't mentioned. Florida State has shown, I'm not one to really read into players and their kind of their mentality and stuff, but when things have not been going well, the body language has not always been very good with Florida State. I think there was a little bit of quit last week against SMU. I think you can. If you get that, especially if you get that Florida State defense to quit, this could get ugly. But I do think they're going to come out fired up. It is Clemson. And they have, put together a game plan. Like this game has not really gotten out of hand
No.
In a while. Like even the 2022 game, they fought. It was a 34-14 game in Tallahassee, and Florida State fought back to kind of close the gap a little bit. So I think that Florida State will come out with some energy. But if you can zap that energy, then that's when I think you could potentially really light up the scoreboard. But we'll see.
Yeah, if Clemson has a similar start that they've had the past few weeks on offense, I think you could see Florida State kind of in give up mode quickly in this game, especially if that Clemson offense starts, like they did against App State, or like they did against North Carolina State, where it's kind of over before you blink, and the first quarter ends, and Clemson's already up 28 points. I could see Florida State going in give up mode, but like I said, I'm going to give their defense a little bit more credit than that. Like you said, and I'm going to predict that they keep it close for about a quarter and a half. Maybe until halftime, and then I think Clemson kind of pulls away in the second half. Kind of similar to what happened last week, although the score wasn't like super close. It was 20-7 at halftime. So I could see something like that, and then Clemson putting the distance in the third quarter. But guys, we got 34 people in the live chat. We got one more segment, the BYOG or sell segment, and then we are going to turn it over to you guys, the comment section. So make sure you're getting your questions. Make sure you're getting your comments in the live chat right now, and me and Jordan will be responding to those here right after this next segment. BYOG or sell, Jordan, the most famous segment I think we've ever had on this show so far. Definitely the most popular one, fan favorite, if you will. So we'll go back and forth with a couple BYOG or sells of our own, then see what the comment section is saying with BYOG or sell, and then we'll turn it over and just read regular questions and comments for the rest of the time that we have. All right, I'll go ahead and start, Jordan. I'm going to go Phil Maffa. Now, Phil Maffa is averaging 8 yards a carry so far this season. He's got 43 carries on the season, 300-plus yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. I'm going to say Phil Maffa doubles his touchdown total in this game. So Maffa, 2 or more rushing touchdowns against the Seminoles. BYOG or sell?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to sell just because the way they've played and utilized him, it's kind of just it's just kind of a sprinkle of film off every game. And that sprinkle is really good, but like they're load managing him. It's like
he's
they're going to get him
7 to 10 carries a game.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if he's going to get the opportunities, and because especially with the way this Clemson offense is taking shots down the field. So I think he gets 1, but I don't think he doubles it. He would have to get 2. So I'm selling. But it could happen. It certainly happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Could definitely happen.
All right. BYOG or sell, we will see 2 Florida State quarterbacks on Saturday. Their backup is the true freshman, 5-star Luke Krummenhoek. There's a lot of Florida State fans that want to see him as well. If the game gets out of hand or Brock Glenn struggles early, you think would Brock have a short leash, and we see Luke in not just in like garbage time, but in actual second, third quarter type action.
So
I'll
go BYOG on that. I'll buy that just because I don't know if they bench Brock Glenn during this game. I don't know if it gets to that point, but I do think this game is probably going to get away from Florida State late, and they probably will want to see what that true freshman has to offer. Seeing as DJ's probably going to be out for a period of time. If Brock Glenn doesn't look super good against Clemson, maybe into the third quarter, into the fourth quarter, they kind of turn the keys over to that young freshman and just kind of see what happens. Maybe they're just playing for the future, right, and just seeing what they have in that freshman QB. I could definitely see that happen, so I'll buy.
And people in the chat mentioning that Kromenhoek has been reported in practice to have that they've worked some packages in, at least in
sure
practice.
They're gonna. I fully believe that Florida State is going to throw every single thing they possibly can at Clemson on Saturday. They're not going to hold anything back. They'll have Tolafili and the Wildcat. They'll have a package for that true freshman quarterback. They'll have they'll throw everything that Norvell can think of. They're going to throw at Clemson to try to stay in this game and make it competitive, which is why this game worries me a little bit, right? It just like there's a world where this becomes, a nail biter, a heart attack game, if you will, right? So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Clemson can pull away. But I fully expect Florida State to kind of throw the kitchen sink at the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think they're trying to find an offensive identity, so they're going to want to see what works, what sticks, what doesn't. Because they have a lot of young pieces. They're going to want to work a lot of young guys in, not just the quarterbacks. Kind of playing for the future and not really the scoreboard. So yeah, that's definitely in the cards. All right. Oh no, it's you.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
BYOG or sell Cade Klubnik 3+ passing touchdowns.
BYOG. Yeah, I think he'll hit 3. Like that number a lot, and he's hit 3 in every game. He's probably due to have a below 3.
Yeah.
I mean every game since the Georgia game. So he's probably due for one lower, but I think there's going to be too many up. They're going to want to take shots in this game, and I think he'll hit on some. And even in the red zone, they've had a propensity to pass it. So
yeah, they have.
I like 3. All right.
Last one, and then we'll turn it to the comment section.
Okay. BYOG or sell a freshman will have an interception.
Ooh, a freshman.
Could be a true freshman or a redshirt freshman. They both count.
Okay. I'll buy. I think, I could definitely see Brock Glenn trying to force something downfield. Clemson kind of starting to pull away, and he's trying to make a play and make something happen. Yeah, I'll buy. I think they will.